That was not unlike myself.
Hey everybody, you're listening to 90.3 FM WAIH, the way at SUNY Potsdam. You can reach our request line 315-267-2511. Visit our Potsdam Campus Labs page to see what we're up to. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/90.3 WAIH, and visit Twitter and Instagram at 90POINT3 WAIH. This is your host, DJ Right Shoe, on Walking and Talking.
Yeah.
People have been calling me out this week because I don't walk, but who cares? And I'm here with my special guest. Well,
we walked here. But we walked here.
We did walk. This is my co-host, Jason.
DJ Deja Vu. What's up, guys? How you doing?
Vu. And we are here interviewing yet another MadFest artist, our boy Beluga, or by his real name. Mm-hmm. Unless Beluga is your real name.
It is not my real name.
It could be. You never know.
That would be a great name. On a birth certificate and everything.
So I have a question for you.
Yes.
Right off the bat, as a fellow craney who has spoken to a few other cranies / business majors / like performers, out of curiosity, did you come to the school like when you kind of obviously you're in Creighton, so obviously like you auditioned and you knew there was a music school. Did you know anything about like the local music? Like, did you anticipate doing your own stuff here and like showing it off and doing shows, or was it kind of just like, oh, I guess I'll do it?
I was kind of hoping in a way. I didn't know anything about the local scene, but I have been making music for a while, so I was hoping that there would be some opportunities, and it actually kind of took me by surprise that there's a ton of opportunities, and it's been really great.
Yeah, it takes most people by surprise.
Yeah.
Can you remember your first experience in the local music scene here?
I remember like for almost the entire first semester, I didn't even know what Hurley's was. And
you're not the only one.
Yeah.
You're not the only one.
It's a struggle for a lot of freshmen.
Yeah. And like it was funny because like once I started paying attention, I just realized how weird it was that I never knew, because there's stuff going on there like every week.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember. I think I just went to a random coffee house because my friend knew someone who was in it. And then like in Mad Stop, they started first they just started a committee to do concerts in general for the artists.
Right.
And then
fairly
like,
new.
Yeah. And then someone, obviously I didn't know anything about MadFest from the past, but like people had brought up how that's happened before.
Right.
And then that kind of just took off out of nowhere. Like all of a sudden, like, oh, this is happening, and put a lot of effort into it.
And it snowballed into an all-day concert.
Very much, yeah. That's a very good way to put it. It snowballed into this massive event.
I think, okay, so I'm gonna be a little conspiracy here. So I when I was a freshman, what made me join Mad Stop was MadFest, and it was completely different than what it is now. And this is gonna sound a little silly, because like over the past few years, I've been like, guys, let's do MadFest again. They're like, it's probably not gonna happen. And then this year,
Haley comes.
Haley, a freshman who has not been here as long, she didn't know about the original MadFest. She only knew because I was talking about it. I think I accidentally snowballed MadFest into something legendary. So now we have to make it legendary to make sure people remember. I could be wrong, but like, when you just
left shoe kicking the MadFest into gear.
It's just a joke, but no, yeah, I feel like
you could very well be right.
I feel
really had to get the idea from somewhere.
That's true. But,
not the millions of posters on the wall in the studio, but
yeah, I was I've always been curious about that, because like, if I didn't pay attention and just like looked at everything that was going on in Mad Stop, I would think like, oh, this is something they spend a lot of their time on every year.
Yeah.
And I was actually kind of surprised to find out that this wasn't. It hasn't happened in a few years.
When I came in last year, and they hadn't done a MadFest last year. They did not do a MadFest last year, but I believe they did one the year before.
Okay.
No, it was my freshman. It was like 3. It was like 4. It was like 4 years ago now.
So this is like this is the first one in a very long time.
Yeah, and it's kind of a lot of pressure because we really want it to be good, because we want people.
But at the same
remembrance around it,
At the same time, though, there's really no standards to live up to.
True.
That's true,
we
though.
kind of have, you know, the sky's the limit.
I mean, we're already
That's a
kind
way
of
to look at
one-upping it in a way because back then it was like it was like 4 or 5 band show. And although they did get a really dope band from out of town, we got like 13 acts.
Yeah.
And also we're making shirts and like merchandise for the event, which
Right.
at MadFest a while ago, they let bands sell their merch, but all we really had as a club back then were like buttons. I don't even think we had stickers at that point.
Mhm.
So now it's like we're trying to focus more like on the culture around it too. So like we're trying to get shirts and like, you know, people will wear them and be like, oh yeah, that was a cool thing I went to like my
Right.
freshman year or whatever.
Yeah.
I think we're kind of one-upping it a little bit.
Yeah. I remember Haley. I can't remember exactly what her original goal was for the number of bands, but I remember she said like something around like 10, 12, 14, and I was like,
Between
there's-
like 10 and 20.
Yeah.
Somewhere
Yeah.
somewhere
I was
within that.
I was
I
thinking
remember
like
that.
there's no way. But then like
There's always a way.
pretty close.
and then
You got
and
pretty close.
I remember I guess a lot of people the auditions were like kind of like last minute. I mean, not like totally
Yeah,
last
they were-
minute, but
Right.
it wasn't like a whole ton of warning. And I remember on the
Yeah.
day,
Right.
like not a ton of bands came, but then like I guess we got a lot of video submissions
got a
because
ton
then
of
like all of a sudden
submissions.
I'm like, where did all these bands
Yeah,
come from?
I was talking to a lot of people and they were video submitting rather than performing in person just because of time scheduling and
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
like that. I actually have a question for you. It's not really a question. It's more of a, if you can just walk us through as a MadFest, now a MadFest artist, walk us through the process of how it all began.
Well, everything or
I mean, from the first meeting, like
Okay.
since you were part of Mad Stop as well as you are an artist, so
Oh, yeah.
is there any middle ground that you have, like, sneak peeks, backgrounds, behind the scenes look at?
Yeah, well, at first, like my first kind of idea to possibly perform was when Haley started the committee as
Mhm.
just like single concerts for like single artists. We were looking for someone to test it on, and I said like I might be interested in doing something like towards the end of the semester, like something low key to test it out on, and then like all of a sudden the festival, and it happened very fast. I'll admit I kind of procrastinated a little how to prepare my audition like kind of
As we all do.
rapidly.
Yeah,
As we all do.
understandable, man.
So it's really cool. It kind of evolved into, from what was once your own show to you being part of this grand festival. I think that's really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
There's like I a few months ago, like I never would imagine like any of this would be happening.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
possibly like even if I was just like a student outside of the whole music scene, like I would be really excited because I love outdoor music. But now it's like even more unbelievable that like I'm part of it.
You're part
too,
of it,
so
right?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm really excited for it.
yeah. So out of curiosity, now I feel like I'm completely asking a random question, but Jason's question, like the way he was wording it, it got me wondering. So obviously, like you had your own thing and you started doing stuff for MadFest, but my question is, let's go back in time. When did you start like kind of experimenting and dabbling with like doing like your own thing, like as someone who like is also a little band trumpet girl,
Yeah.
If you
It took me a
don't,
while to dabble. I'm like,
if you
wondering.
don't mind, can you give us a brief synopsis of what you play and how
Oh
you
yes,
play it
yeah.
Oh, okay,
Let's start with
yeah.
that.
before you go into that?
So I do electronic music. I call it EDM. But I'll preface first that in electronic music, which is like always rapidly changing and very, kind of a broad thing, not very specific. People disagree a lot on like on the specific titles of genres. So
Okay. That's interesting you bring that up, but okay.
yeah,
That's
because like I always have trouble just saying like, oh, it's this genre, but it's electronic music, and
Right.
I like to think that it's somewhat eclectic. I definitely take a strong influence from hip hop and more like the electronic dance festival styles of trap and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And in my live performance, I like to incorporate a lot of saxophone, a little bit of keyboard, and a little bit of percussion on like a little MIDI drum pad. And I do some looping and like audio manipulation to kind of like create the music throughout the set, and kind of like, since it's rooted in EDM, the traditional way to present EDM music is to, DJ it, make it continuous,
Right.
mix one song into the other. So I also, try to do that. So it's basically, simply put, it's like a DJ set where I took out some of the recorded stuff and then play it live.
Interesting. Very
Nice.
cool. So I'm sorry, Maria. Can you just ask your question again?
Well, I was just wondering how, when you kind of like, what came first, like, I guess in a weird, it's kind of two questions in one, because I'm curious as to how you started making music, but I'm also curious like what the order was, like classical and then electronic.
Because it's a very interesting genre that you've placed yourself in.
Yeah.
It's kind of, in a neutral zone between
Yeah,
like three
yeah.
different genres. If you
Yeah.
will. So what brought the idea?
So, well, to answer like what came first, kind of classical came first, because I've been playing saxophone since my school recruited people in 4th grade on instruments.
Oh wow!
But
cool.
I never really took it that seriously for a very long time. I hope my studio professor doesn't hear that. And I think it was around like probably like 8th grade. I actually like hated electronic music. I was kind of like the
always
stuck
starts that
up,
way.
like born in the wrong generation, because
Right.
like my dad raised me on classic rock, and I was just like too stubborn to try anything new. But I think it was about 8th grade. My friend just sent me this one electronic song, and I remember it was a Wave Racer was the name of the artist. It was a remix of a song. I think it was called Stand Still. But it was just like, so in hindsight, it wasn't like the most crazy unique thing in the world, but like it was unlike anything I had heard, and it was just like so upbeat and like energetic and like happy sounding, and like it had like really cool chords. It was all like glistening, and I was just like so obsessed with that. And I spent like weeks just like finding similar artists and like building a playlist to listen to. And it was like, I was kind of like the first time where like listening to music wasn't as satisfying. Like, like you kind of want something more. So I'm like, man, I wonder what it'd be like to create this. So
That's interesting.
I wasted like $60 on the crappiest audio workstation I have ever had the pleasure of coming across.
It's not a waste if you put it to good use.
Yeah. Well, I was like what, 14, so I wouldn't really call that good use. But from a 14-year-old point of view, I guess it got the job done, considering I really had no idea what I was doing.
Right.
And it all kind of just spiraled from there. I've kind of gone through different phases of the genres I kind of want to make. And I think at this point I've kind of settled on like like you said, middle ground between all of them. But the saxophone thing is actually kind of recent, because like I said, I didn't really take saxophone that seriously. It's probably to like 10th or 11th grade that I really started practicing it a lot and started getting into jazz. And like I've always been very interested in incorporating saxophone into it, especially because it's like a hip hop oriented genre, which takes influence from jazz, and saxophone has always had a place in hip hop. And I look up to, if you heard an artist called Grizz, who does like kind of like
I've heard Grizz before.
Okay, yeah. He kind of does like dubstep / hip hop, but he also plays saxophone, and he incorporates it into his live sets really well. And it was kind of like recently that I decided like, I think I'm decent enough at this now that I can play this live. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's really cool.
Do you happen to have any music, like regardless of whether it's like old or not, do you have any music that's like available anywhere for any potential viewers to check out and listen to?
I have a SoundCloud. I believe it's soundcloud.com/whalebeluga. I'm like 80% sure. SoundCloud.com.
The other 20%.
Because I remember /beluga was taken by an inactive account. So yeah, that's just always how it is. And I think I decided on Whale Beluga because I also think Beluga Whale was taken.
That's crazy.
But I haven't been uploading stuff very recently. I've definitely been making a lot of stuff, and it's just I've been having a hard time motivating like actually like finishing, because like in the world of electronic music, it's kind of like anything goes, where like you could put out a song that's like less than a minute, and sometimes people just don't care.
Right.
And especially like when you're like kind of making stuff for like a DJ type setting, like stuff doesn't have to be long, because you're usually not playing out a track for more than like a minute or two when you're DJing. But I still always feel like when I upload something, I really want it to be like a complete full package. I don't want to like leave it hanging. So like I've still been kind of like deciding what to do with all the stuff I've been sitting on, but I'll just be playing it live soon, and then I'll decide what to do with it from there. But I do have some stuff up there.
Nice. Out of curiosity, I feel like I say that like 7 times. I've probably said that a few
Out
times.
of curiosity, why do you think you say
curious
that so many times?
Because I just love asking questions.
Out of
Like I just need
curiosity.
more and more details.
Out
Is
of
there
curiosity.
like a story to the Beluga title? Because I feel it.
That's a good question.
Can I give my
I'm curious
fan theory?
myself.
Sure.
So when I think that sax is like one of the grooviest like of like the horns, you know, like
Pretty
I
groovy.
play
I
trumpet,
will
like I
agree with
love
that,
brass,
yes.
but like
I
there's
will
just
agree
something
with
about there's just something about
Something
sax.
about saxophone.
I feel like the
Very
lower the
saxy.
better, but like I love the alto sax and like even the soprano sax. But anyway, my question, when I don't know, just when I think electronic sax, I think of like a nice cool whale just like swimming in the ocean, you know, like a dolphin. Like probably not. It probably has
It's
nothing
a-
to do with it, but
The theory has merit, but to kind of poke a hole in it, like I said, I didn't really incorporate sax into it until somewhat recently, and I have had that name for a while. It's not a very great story. I was just kind of like obsessed with beluga whales as a kid, because
Nice.
and I wouldn't say obsessed now, but I still do admire them very much as an animal. They are just very majestic and unique, and they're just weird looking.
Yeah.
They look stupid, but they look so cute at the same time.
yeah.
And I
It's the best
just
kind of animal.
yeah, exactly. And I thought the word beluga just has a nice ring to it. But I think I picked that. That was probably like 4 years ago. And I contemplated changing it when I got to college, because I figured that would be like a good opportunity since it's a new environment. But half I couldn't think of anything I liked better, and half I figured I might as well just stick with it. So
Nice.
I'm sticking with it.
Well said.
I dig it. So it's time for a new segment called Let's Go Around the Room
Ooh. Da-na-na.
and say what our
Da-na-na.
biggest influences are. We're gonna start.
Or what?
Biggest influences.
Biggest influences in
It doesn't just have to be music, it could be anything.
in like school.
Just like anything. Like,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
like I honestly I have a lot of respect for Rachel Ray. She was one of my like I don't know, like I don't want to cook, you know. But there's just I don't know, she like started as a cook and now she's like a talk show host, you know, and like I think that's just big goals right there, you know. I like people that are like, you know,
I understand now.
they can do more than one thing, or like they kind of like work their way up, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
How you like I don't know, like who influences you guys?
If it's not just music, then that's a lot of people to think of.
That's a good point.
Okay, well, I'll start easy. I'll start with music, because that's something I've thought about.
Mhm.
If I had to pick one artist, it would be Flume. Are you either of you familiar?
I am not.
Very, very vaguely.
Okay, yeah, he's a Australian producer who I kind of just, like I said, when I was trying to find similar artists, when I discovered electronic music, he was someone I stumbled upon, and I just think he's extremely creative, very inspiring. He did a lot to kind of change the landscape of electronic music over the past decade. He, more crudely put, a lot of people ripped him off, and it became became like a whole new genre. So
Oh shoot.
it's inspiration. I'll have to think more while you share.
Taking turns.
Put on the spot like that.
You went last.
No, it's a good question. I don't know. I don't know.
Think there's anyone out there that you want to be like, you know?
Are we talking like, are we specifically picking celebrities, or or people that
Just-
are,
no,
are
just
well
any, like,
known throughout
notable-
history?
Yeah, any like notable person, like physicist, someone who discovered something or invented something, or just like a speaker, from like different periods in time. Anti-war speakers, protesters.
I have one, but it's kind of inappropriate.
I'm curious, but
It's Eric
Hmm.
Cartman, but not for the reasons not for the reasons that you would think. Not the homophobe bigot.
Oh yeah, no,
That not
yeah.
that part of Eric Cartman. The joy that he brings to people.
Yeah. The funnies.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love South Park. I love the satire,
Yeah.
and I think the world needs to be a little bit more satirical.
I feel and I do love satire a lot.
Or people need to take themselves a little less seriously.
Yeah, I think that's like, not to like get like deep and weird with y'all, but honestly, like I think that
Sorry.
I feel like as I've grown older, you know how like, and like I know you're a freshman, but like I feel like every year you learn more about yourself. But like like when I was like in high school, it was like, oh, people are making fun of me, and like now I'm just like, I don't know, like you can't it sucks that people are like rude, but you can't really take that seriously. It's just laugh about it. Unless they're like physically like slapping you, that's a no.
Well, I guess it's different when the majority of the world is ignorant.
Yeah.
It's funny looking at stuff like that in hindsight, because I remember like there's so many things like in middle school where like at the time like that's the world to you. It's the worst thing that's ever happened.
Your perspective of everything is very
And
what
now
crayon
like,
am I gonna use this time?
And it's just like ridiculous to think that you ever cared.
Right.
But, yeah,
it's true.
Simpler times. I wish I could go back.
Yeah.
Like,
or at least I wish I had the mindset of like my 10-year-old self.
Yeah.
Like I don't mind being 25, but like if I could think like a 10-year-old and like without the cares, that'd be kind of cool.
I'd like to combine my
like college would be easier.
I think the amount of self-aware I'm at right now is pretty good. And like back in the day, like you're a kid, so you're kind of like ignorant to things.
That's
but like you have like that like nostalgic like like, oh, life is pretty cool. Feel like you don't like wake up like, oh, I have a test today, I'm anxious. Like you're just like an innocent little kid. And like I kind of miss that carefree attitude.
Right, exactly.
But like I want to have the smarts of where I am now. So I'm like, if something bad happens, I'm like, oh, that's
it's
okay.
It's overrated.
You can think in your head like, I stepped on a crack. My mom's back isn't really. If you want, yeah. Sure.
Can we bad talk the government?
Ooh.
We're on public radio.
That's true, but we are talking about music. Yeah, we have a pirate radio sound.
We're technically pirates.
We're bad boys.
Arg.
Is there anything government music we could do?
Didn't Bill Clinton play the sax?
He did. He did play the saxophone.
I remember that.
Segue. So Bill Clinton in the saxophone.
I mean, hey, he needs some electronic stuff, and he's
really good on the sax.
You guys,
I love Hillary.
We could. I would love to have him as a guest.
Hillary for president.
In relation to that, random question. So like, I've only ever seen you play live a few times, and one was like, with the it was when you were jamming with Cooper. Oh, actually, I have two questions. The first question, just a little quick question: are you in his band?
I am not actually. I knew who he was, but I had never spoken to him before. Yeah. Literally the day before that, he messaged me on Facebook. He's like, "Hey, I heard you playing. You want to play with my band tomorrow?" And I'm like, "Sure." Are we rehearsing? He's like, "No, I'm just gonna freeform it." And then that we did,
and it was dope.
Yeah, I thought it went.
So it's just an out of the blue invitation.
Yeah,
that's cool. That's awesome.
I mean, that's the best kind.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Jamming is so fun. Jamming is real fun.
Yeah, that's what that like made me realize that like oral skills like matters.
Yeah. No,
they won't tell you this in school, but
they won't tell you the fun reasons to learn. They don't tell you the fun reasons.
Exactly. Like in the examples, they're always listening. You just listen to the same sound, like every Bach.
The same
it's always a Bach piano sonata or Beethoven or Schubert if they're getting a little frisky.
Ooh, Schubert.
And like
Shine that shoe.
I've never found myself in a situation where I'm listening to classical piano and I'm like, it is dire that I know what they're playing right now. But I found myself.
I just kind of assume they know what they're doing.
Yes.
Oh my God, what is this song?
Yeah, like I need to know the solfege. But like in a jam setting, like that's when that actually matters. So I'd like to see.
that's a good point.
Dr. Doyle brought up a really good point. He's like, why don't you bring instruments to oral skills ever?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember him back when I was years ago.
Yeah.
Spotting man. I remember him saying that.
I'm sorry. What's the word that you're using? Oral skills?
Oral.
Aural.
Oral skills?
AURAL. I don't know what that word
do you
is
know the
derived
definition
from.
by any chance?
I think it just
Auditory.
yeah, like pertains to hearing.
Oral. Oh, okay.
Something like that.
Okay.
Sure.
Oh, so like
Yeah,
basically
so
like hearing pitch.
yeah, exactly.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Well, I know a couple of people that are like, pitch perfect.
Yeah.
No
Oh
pun
my
intended.
goodness. Lucky ducks.
But in like you'd be like, hey, and they'd be like C sharp.
Yeah.
I feel like it's probably like
I'm
a
like,
blessing and a
how?
curse though, because
Yeah.
like if you're not like if you're like I'm a ditzy, I'm like a little dumb person. So if I had perfect pitch,
I wish
I'd
I
be
had
like, I know that it's out of tune, but I don't know if it's supposed
Yeah.
to be like this note or because like I just wouldn't remember.
Yeah,
love that.
That's the thing. Like every once in a while, like if I'm hearing a song and I have a piano next to me, I'll be like, like, oh, what are the chords? And I'll fiddle around and try to figure it out. And like every once in a while, a song will just be like, for one reason or another. And obviously it happens a lot with old music that's been like, run through the mud a bunch of times. Like it'll be like halfway between two keys, and no matter like what you play on the piano, like you'll play a note and be like, is this tonic? You're like, no, it's a half step off. And then you go a half step up and you're like, no, now it's a half step off again. And I've always wondered if I had perfect pitch, would that be really annoying? Or would I be able to be like, yeah, it's tonic. It doesn't actually exist on the piano, but that's it.
It's false. It's not.
It
there.
would save you some time.
You
It
learn the
would.
truth.
Yeah, I mean, there's two sides to every coin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of wish I had perfect pitch.
I
I could
tried.
get to crane that way.
I tried training myself once. I was curious.
Is that something you can
Oh,
train
you-
yourself in?
I think it's possible, but like,
You can
very
strengthen your
difficult.
relative pitch.
yeah. And that's what I found. Well, what I found when I was doing, like what I was trying to do is to be able to just sing a B flat on command without having heard the pitch at all recently. And what I found was that I could get like pretty accurate, like within a half step, but I was really only basing it off of how it feels in my throat when I hum it,
Yeah.
which is like weird. But if you don't have perfect pitch, that's the most accurate you can get.
Yeah.
And like my study was inconclusive. I do not have perfect pitch. It didn't really help me at all. It was kind of a waste of time, but like now I know.
Well, now you know.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I feel like that's I don't know. Depending on the kind of person you're, because there are like videos on YouTube of like it'll just like play the note and in different voices it'll say F, 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 and then it's like it'll do the note like on piano over and over, or then it'll switch to like a clarinet, and it's like, oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, that seems like more like hypnosis than anything.
Yeah, I'd rather listen
You're
to
getting
like
very sleepy.
rather listen to like Paramore.
The
or
sound of my
something.
voice is making you very drowsy.
You're
yeah.
starting to understand what middle C sounds like.
The sound of my B flat makes you want to sleep forever. Makes you want to get up in the middle of the band and
Snap
walk
my
out.
fingers. You'll recite all theory.
At the snap of my fingers, I will recite the station ID. You're listening to 90.3 WAIH, the way at SUNY Potsdam. You can reach our request line 315-267-2511. Visit our Facebook at facebook.com/90.3 WAIH. And follow us on Twitter and Instagram at 90POINT3 WAIH. As a reminder, this is Safe Harbor Hours and we're interviewing, so the things we say are not reflective of the way or SUNY Potsdam as a whole. So
Only
let me give that quick
us.
reminder because the FCC be looking at us.
They're the fellas at the freaking FCC.
Dibbidi-doo. You're listening to Walking and Talking with DJ Right Shoe, DJ Deja Vu, and
What
today
up?
we are interviewing our good friend Nick. Just letting you guys know who are coming in halfway through the hour or at some point after we did the original station ID. So Nicholas,
Yes.
can I call you Nicholas?
Of course.
Can I
You can
call
call me
you
anything.
Nicholas?
Before SUNY Potsdam, because I know you mentioned, getting into this whole like combining thing relatively recently. Even before you did the sax thing, even before you kind of added that into the mix, did you ever just do electronic music live? DJing or anything like that?
So there was a charity concert kind of geared towards high schoolers that happened during like yearly when I was in high school, and actually I think it ended right after I left. That's sad, but I played that. I played that once, but that was with my actually now girlfriend. She was not my girlfriend at the time, but she is now. We played that together, and she sang. And then I think I'm trying to remember exactly what I did. I know I did keyboard, and I'm trying to think if that was it. I think I had something else up there with me. Yeah, I remember. I was like, I use Ableton Live for my live stuff, and I'm just like, I'm thinking back to it now, and I was using that program so wrong. Like, I had like each song saved into a different file, so like I'd have to open up the file in between songs, just like the dumbest thing ever. I don't know why I thought that was the way to go, especially because it takes like 2 full minutes to load it.
Oh, wow.
But I did that once, and I DJ'd the senior picnic at my high school.
Nice.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
the biggest gig of my life.
Oh yeah. Did you
It's
get paid
wild.
for it?
No, but
Did they offer you something?
no, but I was gonna be there anyway, and
Yeah.
I did convince them to set aside like $80-$90 of the budget to get DJ speakers from like
That's
to
good.
rent them from a
Nice.
music store for the
That's
day.
good.
So I was satisfied with that.
That's
To be able to play on real speakers, and that's payment enough for me.
Yeah, it's pretty
great
cool.
experience too.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, again, here DJ, I think radio. You know what I mean? Now
We are radio
now
DJs.
we don't do a whole lot of stuff live, but we do DJ a lot of events. We DJ like Yule Ball. We just DJ'd Bowman Blast last night actually.
2 nights
Out of
ago.
curiosity, how do you feel about the radio world in terms of like hosting your own show or like, I don't know, bringing us some jazz tunes every week with that sax or something like that?
Yeah.
It's kind of a joke, but I don't know. Have you ever? What's your opinion on radio? Actually,
I
'Cause
like
a lot of people
radio.
think it's dying out, but it's not.
Well, I mean, if we're speaking objectively, I mean, it is kind
You
of
have
Yeah.
to speak objectively.
going out the door, but I
Yeah.
am a big fan. I in the car, I get sick of, finding. I get sick of listening to my own playlist.
Going
I'm
through
not,
the same songs every single
yeah, I'm not the
Yeah.
type of person that like I like to convince myself that I'll put a lot of time to make good playlists, but in the end, it's just the same 3 playlists,
Same.
and
Yeah,
like sometimes I just
exactly.
want to.
Or I just shuffle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm that lazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to listen to radio. For when I was little, I think like one of the first careers I ever wanted was to be a radio host. So yeah,
You can now train with WAIH.
I
But
sure-
training
wait,
sections-
at SUNY Potsdam now.
Meetings are at 5:00 on Sunday. Sorry.
I mean, actually, at some point we
That's like-
do. We've been busy this semester, but next semester we're going to start up live sessions, which
Again, yeah.
pretty much every Saturday we'll bring in a performer, and within the span of an hour we'll let them play a few songs, and in between songs we'll interview.
Or a
them.
whole set for in your case.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So maybe we'll have some beluga on the way next semester.
Yeah, that
Not
would
With
be
or
maybe.
without
great.
electron, we'll figure.
Not
something
maybe,
out.
definitely.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
That would be awesome.
This is legally binding. I'll be there.
There
I
you
mean,
go.
you're not signing anything,
you have no.
and
you
we're not
have no say
shaking
in the
hands
matter.
unless you want to.
They,
I'm not going to be here, so what? My word doesn't matter.
oh, sorry, you just made it sad.
I didn't mean to make it sad. I'm graduating.
Yeah.
I would love to see that performance though.
All right,
If
yeah.
it's live streamed, I would
Oh, yeah,
definitely
I'll-
tune in.
We'll send you the link.
Of course.
But yeah, I think we'll be on air a little more consistently too once it gets warmer because I mean,
Yeah, especially
you know,
in the fall
we do have
semester.
an antenna up there. That's a little bit of a disadvantage
And we
because
are in
we
sunny
live in
Siberia.
Potsdam, and
Yeah.
yep, and there's rain and there's snow. So especially during the winter, we have to ask Casey Nelson to reset a lot. So it's easier to deal with when it's warmer, but it's good that we have a live stream now. We used to be on TuneIn, but for some reason we're not anymore.
I think we're working on iHeartRadio.
Yeah, some guy from
Oh.
iHeartRadio was like, "Oh, Potsdam." We were like, "Added iHeartRadio."
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
With
so that'll be dope.
so with iHeartRadio, like you could listen from really anywhere, right?
Basically.
I think yeah,
Theoretically.
I think so, yeah.
Theoretically. Well, like my parents could.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 We I said TuneIn before we had we had TuneIn, but we also had a Ustream for live
TuneIn?
streaming. But and then that was of course just audio, so you couldn't like see us. But
Right.
we got YouTube. We got the video world
That's all we
going
need.
on. Here.
Hi, video world.
I think we can entertain and like juggle and stuff.
Yeah,
But, yeah, man. Good times with good friends.
So
Beluga.
Yes.
Beluga. Do you because the schedule was released? Do you know what your spot is
Oh yes.
on the day of?
Yeah, I actually just double checked today because I forgot. It'll be 3:45 post meridian. It'll be a 30-minute set. That's what PM stands for, right?
I think.
Is
Oh
it?
yeah, I think so.
I probably should have
And
double
what
checked.
does AM
Yeah, I'm not sure what
stand
AM
I don't
stands
know.
for actually.
for? After meridian?
For
Because that's what post means.
yeah, it should be or pre-meridian.
Anti-meridian.
Anti-meridian?
Ant. I don't know how that word is pronounced, but it's like
Aunt's
I would
meridian.
say anti if
yeah,
I'm
I think it's
playing poker.
anti, but not anti. Anti.
Ant.
Day Latin
like a
name
small
for
meridian.
before midday or before
PM
noon.
is post meridian.
I believe so.
Oh yeah, I see it there.
Yeah. You learn
Anti
something
and
new every day,
meridian.
kids. Just like that one Phineas and Ferb episode where they taught you about the aglet at the at the end of your shoelace, and then every kid knew
Yeah.
it, so it wasn't special anymore.
Also, like when the Animaniacs went through every single country,
I
in a-
love that
in a rap?
song.
like
Oh,
that's
was it?
fantastic. It's kind of a rap. You could call it a
He
rap.
spoke pretty fast, yeah.
That's how I
Yeah.
feel listening to
That's like
Yeah,
Joey's
free
Canada,
mumble.
Mexico, Canada. Oh wait, no.
That's a good.
Mexico, Canada.
So
Hey, Jamaica, Peru.
Joey is a subgenre of the Animaniacs.
Joey's an Animaniac. Aw.
Whoa, did we just make a discovery that we didn't want to make?
We
Joey's
know,
gonna walk
we know
in
his
any
true
second. Shut
influence.
this down.
Joey's like Wacko and Yakko and Dot.
I've never seen Animaniacs.
Never. Oh, my childhood.
Like I can't. Some shows I can I kind of picture what it looks like, but like
Right.
I have no idea.
It's just
I've
three
only heard
little.
the name.
I don't know what they are. I guess they're puppies. They could be puppies. I don't know. They
Yeah.
could be weasels. I don't know. But Yakko,
Yeah.
Wacko, and Dot are the Warner triplets. No, they're not triplets. No, the
I think
Warner.
they're just yeah. I think,
They're just the Warner siblings, and
Yeah,
they
I think
just
they're
do
siblings.
zany.
I think it's such a funny
stuff.
concept.
And Steve Spielberg wrote it, so
Yeah.
it's good.
Oh.
It's like such a cute concept,
It's awesome.
Yeah, I love it.
Like
What a man! I miss those
it was
days.
a kids show that made like adult.
Yeah, anybody could laugh at it.
Yeah, basically. Well, I mean, they did the same thing with SpongeBob, but like
Yeah,
SpongeBob's a little bit different on that note. No, but like they had like guest appearance, like the animated version of like Sylvester Stallone would show up in an episode. Oh, guys, Wacko, and I don't know. It's just I don't know.
It sounds like something I wish I was a part of. What
yeah.
what station was that?
WB11. It was on WB11 or the Warner Brothers station.
I don't
Yeah,
think
back
I-
in the day.
But
think I
the
ever
90s,
watched
the
that.
90s
They
was a
moved it
better
to
time for
Kurt
TV,
Two-
in my
Oh
opinion.
no, yeah, Kids WB.
Yeah,
So like same show. Oh, back when they had like Yu-Gi-Oh and like
yeah,
Pokemon on that
exactly.
channel.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Digimon back when they had Digimon.
Digimon was
What
my
a time to be alive. The early 2000s.
the 90s.
man. The
That's what
90s
I'm
and early
saying. The
2000s.
90s were the best time for everything.
Yeah.
Like I'm not. I hate to be biased.
My thing is like I love video games now, but there's something
But where
about
did they
vintage
start
games.
from?
Yeah, like I just love the vintage like terrible look of like the 8 and
The
16
graphics,
bits.
you see,
I love
graphics
it.
are overrated. It's
I
about the
think-
gameplay.
I can definitely appreciate the graphics,
Yeah,
but
for
that's
sure.
never something that makes it stand out to me. And like if a game has exceptional graphics, like in the moment, I'll be like, wow, this is really cool.
And then
But
the
like
rest of the game
I'll
is-
just forget it.
yeah.
You know, like that's
Yeah.
not something I want to come back to.
They
Like-
have made games like with those standards, under those standards, that it just looks amazing.
Yeah.
But the storyline isn't
Is
that
not,
great.
yeah.
The gameplay isn't that great.
Yeah.
It's like, Yeah. So like, what's the point? You're basically buying a movie for
Yeah.
$60.
Yeah, that's a pricey movie. Yeah.
I think Tetris is the
Pinnacle.
it's the pinnacle of simplicity
Yeah.
in entertainment.
I
Like,
have to, I have to agree with that. That is a very, very bold statement.
yeah. How many
Yeah, I
how
don't
many
know
different
what
blocks?
it
It's just
is.
4 or 5, right?
There's like small.
You have the L, you have the
The
short
cube,
T,
I think there's like
the
7.
cube,
the
the straight
the
line.
L, both
Um,
L's.
oh right, yeah,
the
there's 2
little
L's. That'd be.
S, the little S looking ones.
Oh right, yeah. So it's
those 2
6.
Right.
guys.
Yeah.
And there's like how many stages? I was watching a video about this tournament that these
Mhm.
2 guys were doing, and they got it to like stage 230 something.
Yeah,
and
it's
like
crazy.
it turned to dark red, like the apocalypse or something like that.
Yeah.
And they're just like, it's going 90 miles an hour,
Yeah.
falling
That's
down.
just insane. I used to be, don't mean to brag, I used to be pretty good at Tetris.
I used to love playing Tetris. That was
Yeah.
I played
Oh.
Tetris Friends on Facebook,
oh yeah, that's
which
yeah.
like
Wait.
you'd think like Facebook would be responsible for one of the crappier versions of Tetris, but considering the number of crappy Tetrises that have been put out over the years, and considering that Tetris Friends actually introduced a really cool mechanic where you send the blocks to your opponent, I really gotta
That's
give them
right, yeah.
I gotta
very
give
cool.
them props. That I
Well,
love that.
Facebook, you did something right.
Yeah, that was the one
And
thing.
it wasn't Farmville.
Yeah. You can sell all my data as long as I get to play Tetris Friends.
Give my password to Russia. I just want to be able to send my friend a line on Tetris.
Run along. Here, take my credit card. Yeah, CVC, whatever. Just
Yeah, just let me play Tetris.
you need to get to level 10.
I just need to get to level 10.
Yeah, it gets addicting. I just love puzzles. I have a Sudoku app. Do you have the Tetris app?
Is there just like the Tetris app?
There was
I mean, there's
there was a
probably
phone
more
that
than
had it.
one.
There was a phone that had it standard in like the game section. Remember when phones had game sections?
I remember I had
Yeah.
one.
Instead
I
of just
had one.
downloading all of them.
There was one for iPhone. But like it wasn't like some of them try to like emulate a controller on the bottom of the screen where you have the arrow pad and like an A and a B. But this one was weird. Like you would swipe down to make
And
it
you'd have to
drop
move
and
it
like
with your-
tap to
Yeah.
that like completely ruined. Like I get what they were doing. They're trying to adapt it for iPhone, but it
Yeah.
kind of ruined what made
That
Tetris
reminds
work.
me of another game. I don't know if you've ever played like those bubble smash games
Mhm.
where you shoot the bubble at the group
Yeah.
of thing. I
Guilty
love those
pleasure.
types of
Yeah.
games.
Yes. Yeah.
But like the iPhone versions and like the Android versions really mess with that because, I mean, me personally, I aim,
Mhm.
I shoot to kill, and on that, and so like if your thumb is covering like the arrow while you're trying to aim,
Yeah.
it's hard to like
Yeah,
really
exactly.
manage. So it's not as fun. Then you end up undownloading
Yeah.
the game. And then they ask you if you'd rate this, how many stars would you give it? And you're like, not now,
If not now, then when?
Then what? Never. Don't ask me again.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because I've never played that on anything except for
iPhone?
an iPhone or like I had like one of those Kindle Fires.
Oh, yeah?
reading device.
Yeah, okay. Okay, Kindle. Whatever you'd like. I'll watch TV on it.
Jason, I'm not targeting you because you're a little older.
That's exactly what you're talking about.
I don't know if it was NES or
Shots
SNES,
fired.
but remember when remember like I don't know if it was the OG. Oh no, it couldn't have been the OG. It was like the 70s, but oh no, when did Tetris come out? It actually says it on
That's
this
I
game.
think the early 80s?
60s?
I don't know
70s?
why
Well-
I'm giving an answer because I know I don't know. I'm just
I don't know
incriminating
either.
myself.
I don't know
Yeah.
either, but if I may,
1985. There you go.
there you go.
Okay.
Well, you're right.
All right.
If I may quote a very, very good movie, Pixels, because they went to a tournament, and it was in 1985. The tournament they had Galaga, and
Yeah.
Tetris, and Donkey Kong, and all of the above. So yeah, 1985. That's very right.
So the Tetris was a little baby.
Yeah, well, yeah.
little, well, not a little baby. It was a big machine.
It was a big.
Now, now it's a little.
What was it? I mean, I don't want to cast doubt upon Pixels if it was historically accurate, but like, was Tetris already that big the first year it came out?
You know what? It probably wasn't. Actually,
It could have been. I feel like
The-
something back then would have been
the
pricey.
video game era, the introduction of the video game era, where it was like you had to go to a video arcade, like where it was just platform after platform, it was gigantic platforms of one
Oh
game.
yeah, I didn't think about. Well, the Tetris when it came out in '85 was that on a machine?
It was on a machine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's how video gaming was. It was all on a machine. Everything was its own machine, its own gigantic machine.
Right.
So
Well, didn't they have consoles?
no, not yet.
I thought those were early. Well, like obviously they were really primitive. I was under the impression those were early '80s.
I think Nintendo might have came out with the in the late '90s. Nintendo might have came out with like the Game Pack or something like that. I'm not entirely sure the name of the device itself, but
Yeah, they
I'm,
had like very like.
I'm almost positive
early
it wasn't a conception until those big arcade systems.
I don't think
Yeah.
I've ever seen Tetris on an arcade machine. Now that I think about it,
That's how it
Yeah, that was
began.
like-
I'm almost positive.
I'll take your word for it.
Like
Yeah, 'cause it
unlike
was like the classic,
Pong.
Yeah.
No, Pong was also a platform like it should have been. I could also be talking out of
Well,
my
I
butt.
thought the whole I thought Pong was historic because
It
it
was
was
on
one of the first
Atari.
household games. Yeah.
Right, it was on Atari.
Okay.
So I could
Throwback.
be wrong about Pong, but I'm not so sure about Tetris. I'm almost positive Tetris was a platform.
Okay. Let's just not look it up.
If you want
We'll
to call
continue
now,
that mystery.
315-267-2511
if
and call me and tell me I'm wrong, please
Yeah, do
do.
If you
Or
have
tell me
a
I'm right,
Tetris
I don't know.
machine, sell it to us.
Oh, and if you have a Tetris machine or a Donkey Kong machine or a Mario machine or
Yeah,
any
like
kind of
Bring them
machine,
in.
Rich.
We want to play with them.
Galaga
Oh,
machine, I
uh,
used to love Galaga. Sorry.
I have
That was
I used
Donkey
to
Kong guy.
stink at Galaga though.
Computer science. Sorry, I'm pointing at you, but
That's
I know you
okay.
said computer science earlier.
Yes.
So have you taken classes in Dunn yet?
Yes.
Do you know the hidden game room in Dunn?
There's a game room in Dunn.
There is a game room in Dunn.
Where?
I do
I
not.
don't know. I saw it like
Are
I
you
went
trying to
there
get
twice.
info out of me?
Yeah, I saw it. I went there like
Oh,
twice
do you know
last
where it
year.
is, Nick?
No, I've never
Oh.
heard of it. This is the
Okay.
first I've heard of this.
I think
Oh,
it's the third floor, but I took the elevator to both the second and third floor and couldn't find it. So I think I'm an idiot.
Oh,
But one
wait.
of these days I'm
Orange
gonna
is
search for it because there's just like a platform.
Are you
game in
sure
there.
it wasn't the one that was moved to Lehman? That Lehman
No,
gaming
it
center?
was.
Is there two
Well,
now?
it wasn't. It's not a game room. It's like a something room, and there's like games.
Is
in
there-
there.
Okay, you might be
Consoles or, like,
right.
board games.
Well, there's one big like game. Like you go up and like you don't have to pay quarters.
I like
Or it's
not
like one of
quarters.
those.
I know I've never been to it, but I know as a computer science
it's a
major,
fighting game,
I have
sorry.
access to a lounge on the third floor. I've never been in there, so
That
that
might
could
what
be it.
is.
That might be it.
But I'll check back. I'll check, and your next segment, I'll
Nick,
call.
you want to take us
and
with
I'll
you?
let you know.
I want to play Galaga.
if
I
I
can
find it, I'll key you in because you need key card access to the lounge.
That
Yeah,
makes sense. That makes
And only
sense.
computer science majors get that key card access.
I think, but I know there's.
SUNY Potsdam. That's not very nice.
I know. I get into the lounge on the third floor of Dunn because I'm a computer science major, but I don't know if it's just computer science majors. It could also be like economics, business
Maybe.
majors.
You're
'cause
lucky I
that's the
have
same
an
building.
Xbox.
I know this was the '80s. People would be
If this was
storming
an
them.
if this was the 80s, there would be a line outside of Dunn
Yeah.
up until Crane,
Oh,
and then
man.
the
Dunn
and then the
used to-
line outside
yeah.
of Crane leading up until Dunn to get
Yeah.
into the concert.
And then they'd get confused with the line and the,
Like, who's going
the
where?
Performing Arts Cafe.
Let's meet at Minerva. Sorry.
That was Gucci. You're just expressing yourself. Sorry.
Express yourself.
Well, it's looking like it's going to be that time where people go to sleep because it's getting late.
Oh yeah.
I feel like this has been a pretty good time, though. I think we've all gotten to know each other pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a
We're
great
all
time.
best friends now. We're gonna go.
We're the three
Just base
best
together.
friends that anybody
Gonna
had.
go to Mars
Not
and
four, but the
colonize.
three best friends.
It'll be like one of those sitcoms where it's like the two guys are like the best friends, but then they have the female friend, and she's like, "I'm one of the boys," and it's like,
You're
I have to play
describing
like
New Girl.
volleyball or basketball or something like that, just to like prove that I'm like a tough girl.
Yeah.
So like
Do you
New
still
Girl?
need
And,
the PE
like-
credits?
And like there are episodes where like, I have emotions too. But then you
So
guys
like
are
Zoe
like, "What?"
Deschanel.
And then you guys are like bro dudes, and you're like, yeah, man.
Like,
this
whatever, let's go
football
play
game."
Yeah,
Galaga
let's
and
just
Dunn.
like
No.
let's go play Tetris.
Yeah, like you play like video game. Oh, it's like Drake and Josh, but like there's a girl too. Like
Yeah, but
Megan.
you're not
Like
not
Ned's
causing us
Declassified.
torture. Oh,
Yeah,
Nessie
so I'll be
Classified is a good-
I'll be
But neither of us can be Cookie.
well. The smart who of you smarter? Fight right now.
Nick.
Fight right now.
Nick is the smarter one. He's a computer science major. I'm a communication major. I can talk. That's about it.
And you're damn good at it.
And that's about it.
Painful truths all around.
Well,
Well-
that's why I went to college.
It's been real, but we're going to have to close up.
Thank
guys
you
have
so
any-
much, Nick, for joining us.
Yeah, you guys have any
Thank you
parting
for
thoughts?
having me.
Thank you, Nick. Do you have any parting thoughts before we keep it locked?
Just a real quick plug. Again, I'll be playing MadFest a week from Sunday, 3:45 post Meridian, and I'll also be playing Loco, quick 15-minute set around noon. Can't exactly remember. That's embarrassing, but I know everyone will be there all day anyway. So
You better. Check out Whale Beluga on SoundCloud. I don't know why I said it like that, but do us all a favor.
Wow. Do you speak whale?
Do you speak whale?
Thank you.
I don't think Beluga whales speak the same.